Well, the nice folks at Karfo reached out to me and wanted to see if I'd be interested in reviewing their Ecostar S1 countertop composting system. So I haven't opened this yet, just got it yesterday, but today we're going to unbox it and set it off on its maiden voyage. Alright, looks like they gave us a white one. Wasn't sure what color it was going to be when we got it. So initial thoughts, this thing is pretty hefty, which is not necessarily a bad thing because it's going to be sitting on the countertop. I'm not going to have to lug it off all the time. And it's white. It's going to be the only white appliance I have in the kitchen that I'm aware of. But it doesn't seem too big. It's just slightly bigger than my coffee pot, so it shouldn't take up a whole lot of room. Now we're going to bring you in closer and kind of go through all the parts. Now you can see that this thing is only slightly bigger than my coffee pot, so it doesn't take up a lot of counter space. So let's get into this thing, huh? So like I said, it is the Karfo Ecostar S1. So in here we have the bucket, which this is definitely most of the reason this thing is pretty hefty. This is the bucket, and it feels like it's made out of cast iron or something. So we'll just set that aside for now. Then we have the top filter here. Looks like it just twists and pulls out. Now it does have a little bit of a black residue on it, but I believe that's because they use charcoal for the filtration for the smell. I just gave this bucket a quick rinse with water and wiped it out just to make sure there's no funky stuff in there before we start using it. But it looks like one of those things where it won't let you put it in wrong. So there's these four little knobs on the back, and then there's a little cutoff spot here on the side. Looks like that just slides right into there, sets down in, and then it clicks down in there. Now this mode here is quick mode. It's suitable for handling food waste with a little bit of moisture. Then we have standard mode. This mode is suitable for food waste with moderate amount of moisture content. The ending product can be stored as fertilizer. Now for the fun part. Now we're going for the maiden voyage. So we're going to go on standard mode just because of the contents of what I have to put in there today. So we'll go ahead and open her up. And in my little bowl here, we have typical standard kitchen waste stuff. Coffee grounds with the filters going right in there. Some apple cores. Some onion peels, some shriveled up peppers. Then at the bottom here we have even some leftover rice and leftover chicken. All that's going in there. So we'll just go ahead and clean up everything that didn't make it in there. And you want to try not to fill it any more than 75% of the way full. There's a little fill line in there. It looks like I got about 75% of the way full. Even the paper towel I used to clean it up with, that's going in there. Now we're going to go ahead and shut it. It already assumes that I'm going to standard mode because of how full it is. Look at my handy dandy instructions here. We're going to close the lid. Plug it in, which it already is, and start the cycle by long pressing the button. It is 11:38 when I push start. This is about how loud it is. Pretty quiet. So 11:38, we'll come back when it's done and see how long it takes. So a little over 5.5 hours later, it just beeped. Let's see how it looks. have to say I'm pretty impressed with how it looks. For the stuff I put in there, which was like chicken and rice and apple cores, it does not resemble any of that except for little pieces of onion skin. So here's what we got out of the last batch with rice and chicken and eggshells and coffee grounds. We're gonna put this thing through the real test now. I'm gonna put in some leftover chicken pot pie. It's got a little bit of everything in it. So in here we have some leftover chicken pot pie, some leftover chicken, and then we have a whole bunch of apples and pears that were starting to go bad. So we're gonna run it through the same cycle and see how that turns out. So I'm learning that this thing doesn't like when you put bread in it too much, because it pretty much just turns it into dough. But with that being said, after a week of using this, this is all the stuff ready for the compost pile that I've gotten out of it.